Yeah, I studied physical therapy. I was a physical therapist assistant. Started painting more and kind of was introduced to the right people in Nashville that year. And kind of as the music gigs slowed down, I started painting more and kind of transitioned into painting full time from there.
How does this happen? You don't have a background in art, you didn't study art, and then all of a sudden you're painting this.
Yeah, well, it's just.
Can you explain this progression?
So drawing was always something I enjoyed and had kind of a natural knack at. But yeah, I had the watercolor tutor in high school, and that was the beginning of kind of painting for me. And this tutor taught me a lot of the fundamentals of color theory and composition and all that. So through college and after, I would paint here and there on the weekends when I had time, and then started with acrylics and eventually oils. I met he was the CEO of the Nashville Magazine at the time. He started critiquing my work and said, when I think you're ready, I'll introduce you to your first gallery in town. So that was a big turning point for me as far as taking painting seriously as a potential career. Got on his nerves after a while because I'd show up like once a month with new work. So just kind of reassuring me, like, oh yeah, people do want to buy my work. Just people would reach out and say, hey, is that for sale?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so random people will buy off Instagram, kind of sight unseen.
Yeah, how does something like that work? You post your picture, they express an interest, and what? You guys just make a payment arrangement and you ship it to them?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just simple invoicing. If someone says, hey, I want to buy it, okay, what's your email address? I'll send you an invoice. They can pay with a debit or credit card through the invoice, and it collects their shipping address. And yeah, once it's paid, I ship it out. So it's pretty straightforward. And it's funny. I've shipped work all over the world. I've shipped stuff to the UK several times, in Australia,
Really?
Japan, Philippines, like
Wow.
all, Germany, all through the power of the internet.
That's amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to get to this a little bit later, but besides Instagram, so how are people finding out about you across the world?
Yeah, my website as well. I've had people tell me they found my work through just Googling, Nashville artists. And then, it's word of mouth and the galleries as well. So I'm with, I believe, 5 galleries right now through the Southeast.
What made you land on oils? What do you love about them?
Just the richness of the colors, and there's something about the luminosity that you can get and achieve, with oils that it's harder. Yeah.
Like this, you mean?
Yeah. No, it's just they're fun to work with, and
What's the process like for you? How long does it take you to get something done from start to finish?
yeah. Well, so traveling is obviously one of the ways I stay kind of creative. I don't work from reference photos, so traveling it's more so refreshing the mind's eye. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to depict a particular landscape. I try to capture a feeling of or an emotion, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I really like when people feel like they've been to whatever landscape they're looking at, right? A lot of people say, oh, that reminds me of home or where I grew up, or this time I vacationed somewhere. So it's creating these non-specific landscapes kind of work as a catalyst or a bridge for the viewer to kind of get in touch with an emotion. So yeah, as far as start to finish, usually 2 weeks or so per piece. But
Do you have a studio you work out of?
I do, yeah. I have a studio in Germantown, just north of downtown.
You're keeping up with where all these pieces end up, like where you're selling them to and shipping them off to as well?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, trying to convey with the painting. It's all very much a subconscious process. I feel like it's a bit of a kind of meditation process for me. You know, it's a way to just, you know, express myself and not really overthink it and just kind of paint. I don't know. I mean, how does it make you feel?
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
It makes me feel peaceful. That's the overarching feeling, I think. But am I close?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's every, you know, people always respond differently to a particular piece, and I think it, you know, it's just a reflection on, you know, how you're feeling. So, yeah, it's interesting that the title of the piece is "Fear No Thoughts," so it can convey that, you know, sense of peace because you're not letting fear kind of define your lens, you know.
So if I were to ask you what you like to paint most and why, I'm looking at a lot of landscapes. Is there something else?
Just kind of abstract florals. It's been a nice change, and it's a, you know, you can really, I don't feel like there are many rules when painting florals. So I don't know one flower from the next. So I just paint whatever shape, you know, looks right, and my wife will be like, "Oh, that looks like a lotus or a hibiscus or whatever." I don't know. You gotta let the piece dry as well, which can range anywhere from, you know, a few weeks to a few months, depending on, you know, the colors. Each different colors dry at different rates, and
No way.
yeah. So like white, for example, tends to dry slower than most other colors. Yeah, it just depends on the active or the pigment, I guess. What, you know,
Wow.
some sort of chemistry, getting into chemistry there, but then yeah, it's just then, you know, varnishing it, and once it's dry, you know, send it out.
How tricky is shipping one of these paintings?
Shipping is no problem.
They can be shipped safely without fear of damage.
Yeah. I mean, knock on wood, but you know, I've shipped hundreds of pieces now in my career, and I've never had one arrive damaged.
That's fantastic.
There's been a couple lost. So that's the bigger issue. You know, if they get, and that does happen. You know, they get lost somehow in transit. Probably lost in the corner of a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah,
But you might not find exactly what you're looking for. But you know, if you like my style, then I'm happy to work with you and to create, you know, a unique piece for your home. You know, I think that's the thing with any sort of creative outlet, right? It's a way to step out of, you know, the daily grind of life.